welcome to another Grange Month presentation. Thank you for those of you who have been tuning in to everything we've had going on for the past couple of weeks. We still got plenty more going on, which I'll talk about later in the night. But tonight, welcome to our Community Service Forum. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Vonada. I am the National Grange Communications Director. And tonight, we are going to leave it in the hands of our National Grange Community Service Director, Pete Pompper, who's going to be running the evening for tonight. So Pete, I'm just going to turn it right over to you.
Now, some people are very scared with that statement, but we're going to have fun. We're going to focus on, community service, but we're going to take a little different look at it. I've got 3 Granges that are going to make presentations tonight. Jonesboro Grange in Maine, Cibolo Grange in Texas, and North Fork Grange in California. Now, I specifically went with Granges in totally different parts of the country. Watching what goes on at these Granges, they don't realize, they think they have nothing in common. And they have more in common than they realize. And we had a meeting last week, and that came out. Every one of these Granges, at some point within the last 10 years, had almost given up their charters. Had very close to give up charters, or the state said to them, if you don't wake up, we're going to take your charter from you. And whatever the reason was, they said, nope, not going to happen. We are not going to allow that. And we are going to do, and we're going to do great things. I like doing great things. And they have very dynamic individuals at those Granges, all 3 of the Granges. Their membership is fantastic. And they're not necessarily the biggest Granges. We're not talking about a Grange with 100 people here. Well, maybe North Fork. But Jonesboro, Cibolo do not have gigantic memberships, but it hasn't slowed them down. And these Granges in the past 2 years, if they haven't grown, I don't know who has, because they have their communities have accepted what they're doing. Their communities have become engaged in what they're doing, and the members have become engaged in what they're doing. So what we're going to do tonight, Chad, Rebecca, and I don't know if Jack's on yet or not, but those envelopes I mailed you, and Chris Johnston, the envelopes, do you have those with you? Yes, open those up for me, please. Or take them out of your pocket. So inside those is going to be a white box and an envelope. Don't worry about the envelope, the white box. Well, unwrap the paper, Rebecca, to get to the white box. Okay. In the white box, Chris, if you want to give your mom one, I say give one to Luana, but she's in Florida. That's a long reach. And if Sharon and Rebecca, Chad, in the box are the National Grange. Open the box up, Rebecca. That is the National Grange Community Service Director's Pin Award. And that is for all the work, and you too, Sharon, all the work you folks do in your communities and your Granges. I have one for you, David, and also Jack in Cibolo. You folks do amazing things. All the stuff I see you're doing and have done for years. It's time you get recognized for what you're doing. And this is a very select club. I've only given out about 25 of these pins. Denny, Tammy have one. Anybody else? Betsy has one. I don't know if anybody else on has one. Okay, that's for what you're doing. I hope you wear those proudly. Now, also, that view. Also, I know Chad has given his out. Jonesboro Grange, do you have the white box there, Rebecca, from National, or I've lost you now? But also, there's Jack. I like it. I see him. Now we get started. Fantastic. Oh, smart. So in the white boxes, Jack should have one, Chad should have one, and Rebecca should have one from National Grange. That from Loretta. Inside that are pins from the National Grange. And those are for the members of those Granges. Yes, Rebecca's showing it now. Each member of Jonesboro Grange will get one of those pins. Each member of North Fork got their pins. And each member of Cibolo Grange will get those pins, because we can't do what we do without you folks. And you, the members, are the ones who do it, who keep us going, who give me an opportunity to brag about the Grange. And I can't say thank you enough to the members of those 3 Granges, because you folks don't realize how much you are impacting your communities in such a positive way. I mean, every Grange on here is, trust me. And I wish I could do this for everybody, but I only got so much time. I just can't thank you enough for all you folks are doing all over. You folks up in Burns Grange and Kinney Grange, you ladies up there, just every time I turn around, you're coming up with something new to do. I've known you ladies a long time. And I can't thank you enough for all you do up in those communities. You know, the Michigan School for the Deaf and all that you do. I see what's going on. So I appreciate it. So what we're going to do tonight is I've asked, Jonesboro, Cibolo, and North Fork. We're just going to do what we would do at a Grange meeting, sitting around, eating pie and drinking coffee. We're going to have a conversation. We're going to start now. Jack, if you're on with your group, I saw you. And if you have audio, sir, we're going to start with Cibolo in Texas. They were this year's Community Service Book winners. They did a great job. And if either David or Jack want to speak for Cibolo, and what I want to hear, Jack, is we were talking the other week, you say your members belong to several different organizations, and how that has helped your Grange bring different organizations into your building. If you want to speak on that for me. I can.
Okay, good. Dave's not here, unfortunately. Dave teaches tonight, so he's off teaching. But yeah, I was thinking how to put it more succinctly as we talked last week. And the key is just synergy. And exactly what you said.
Hey, Jack, I think you're a little bit far from.
Range. Of course, we have great activities that are Grangers. We have a lot of activities that are just made of Grangers. Far from hold on. Technical system still working.
No problem. We'll get through this, buddy.
Okay.
Yeah, you're still breaking up a little bit.
Is that better? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're real tinny, Jack. You're breaking up.
Okay. All right, I'll slow down.
Okay.
We have Grange. Say again?
Move it closer to you.
Yeah, let's work that out, Jack. You're still breaking up a little bit.
Grange specific activities, of course. We have several activities that consist of Grangers and non-Grangers. And the more these, and these are things that people.
Okay.
Yeah, probably our internet. So within our activities, there are several that are mixed Granger and non-Granger. And these activities tend to overlap in many instances. So for example, we're lucky enough to have the Cibolo Senior Citizens Program here. Part of that, some of our Grangers, matter of fact, to Melanie and my wife here, are teaching quilting. Well, as a result of that, some of those ladies have come to our quilting group also. So we're picking up people, and then occasionally some of those come to Grange. We've already picked up, we have our road foundation, which is special needs for older children. They do socialization and activities for them. They've picked up at least one more person as a result of the old thing, huh? All right.
Okay, Jack, if you can mute, we're gonna get that technical difficulty figured out here. Okay.
We're calling it. Type out on the comments that we're calling it.
Where's comments?
I think they're having a Wi-Fi issue, so if you just want to go ahead and move on. Because
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. So let's move on to Rebecca from Jonesboro. So you were in a whole different mode, Rebecca. You guys in the past 2 years. Okay, somebody's not muted. You know, the state of Maine said, you know, you got to get your membership right. There's issues, and you folks accepted that challenge and said, nope. So tell us, you know, what I want to hear is how your members said no, and the communications you folks do and how you work things out, and how it's, you know, your membership has gotten enthused over what's going on.
Well, I want to say thank you to you, first of all, and thank you to the National Grange for this award. I am completely speechless, and that doesn't really happen, and I was brought to tears. So thank you. This is something I will truly treasure for the rest of my life, and I am so thankful for this opportunity, and I hopefully one day will hold, and I aspire to hold a National Grange officer position. So this has planted a seed within me to hopefully grow even more within the Grange Hall. So I was not one of those 13 original members back in 2019, and you will see many of them in the Jonesboro Grange Zoom window right there. Credit goes to a lot of them. It came down to that core group. They said, we see something more. We see the value in that building and that property. Jonesboro Grange sits on a very busy section of Route 1 that runs through the state of Maine. We have a very unique prime piece of property. We also sit beside a river, and it's just a beautiful, gorgeous spot. And these members came together and said, hey, this building, we can't let it be sold to the public and be lost forever. There's so much history here. It's truly the center of town when you step back and look at it. So since then, it was kind of slow to kind of get the momentum going, but once activity was seen in that location and people saw that cars were in that parking lot, and you can't drive by the hall without a car being in there and being, hey, what's going in the hall today? It catches people's attention. They are paying attention. So the more that started happening, it snowballed, and people loved that things were happening there. So one event led to another, which led to another, which led to more people coming through those doors, which led to more members joining the organization, which in turn, more ideas, more help grew the organization far beyond what I think those 13 original back in 2019 could have ever imagined being where we are today in 2022. We are very, very fortunate to work with the Jonesboro Rooks Bluff Volunteer Fire Department. We have members. Luann Cox just did a huge fundraiser for both the fire department and the Grange on the split down the center, and she raised about $7,000. It was incredible. And we work with the church very well. They have a kitchen. Our Grange Hall does not have a kitchen, nor does it have running water right now. We are literally, excuse me, back in the 1900s with no water. That may shock many of you right now, but once upon a time, our Grange Hall did have water, but it was fed up over the hill from the town office, which came down across the Maine Department of Transportation owned road. When they redid that road, they severed that water line. So during that time, we lost water, and the Grange Hall had never had a well of its own. So going back to 2019, when that group formed, who would have known that in 2022 we would have had a well drilled, excuse me, like, who would have ever dreamt that? And it makes me wonder, looking back to those early years when the Grange was being built in 1906, when those plans were being drafted, when those original members said, hey, we're building and pounding those nails, if they ever thought ahead to 2022 and said, there's going to be a well being drilled on this property, and the work that we're doing now, I just look back and just imagine them cheering us on and saying, you know, keep going, keep going. But that's where the church comes into play. We work wonderful with them. They have wonderful facilities, so we partner with fundraisers and community events with them. It's just been beautiful. The town of Jonesboro, the selectmen, more than willing to let us use any town property that we need for any of the community service projects we use. We just did an egg hunt. We stuffed 4,000 eggs. Went a little overboard, I think, but that's the true spirit. You got to go all or nothing. But they let us use the town property to hide the eggs on, because we really don't have that much property at the Grange Hall. So, yeah.
I can't believe I'm muted. So I'm going to ask you, Chad, and either Jack or David from Cibolo, how has all you've done, and obviously your members are excited because they're seeing what's going on and they like it, the town likes it. So how has what your Granges have done in your communities helped your image in those communities? And people say, you know what? I want to be part of that. I like what you're doing, and I want to be part of what's going on to positively impact our communities because they see what you're doing.
Hi, everybody. I'm Chad Smith from North Fork Grange in California. It's been interesting, the process here. We're in far Northern California in a very remote community. Our entire county has 13,000 people or so. The town that our Grange Hall is in has 650 or so. When our Grange really started catching momentum again, there was a rather large generational gap. And we found that our Grange Hall was like a microcosm of our entire community. The ability to communicate successfully between the younger generation that's, picking up steam and looking for ways to improve the community, for ourselves or for our children, for the younger generations, had a hard time winning a degree of credibility, even within our own Grange Hall. And that reflected our community as a whole, as many of the same individuals were striving to become more kind of municipally connected and more engaged in our county as a whole. And we found that initially rebuilding or enabling a new chapter in our Grange Hall kind of played out like reading a book. And in the further chapters of that book, the community, as we began developing new programming and reaching out and collaborating with other organizations, kind of like Rebecca, Jonesboro, and the church, we collectively just kind of watched as doing the work blew the doors wide open. As soon as the question of credibility was put to rest in everyone's mind, that generational gap just melted. And we found that rather than finding resistance amongst either our cohort in the Grange or the community at large, suddenly we were having to schedule stuff like, oh no, we can't fit it all in one day. Like even tonight, we're in my Grange Hall here, and generally we have jujitsu practice and 2 committees meet and just everything going on. But now we have to make room and flip coins and draw straws and be overly polite. Oh, I'd prefer if you guys had a meeting tonight, create creative ways to work together, because that's become the language we speak, rather than distrust or, any resistance to that idea of community or town building, or any kind of building, even institutional building of the Grange, or the building of educational processes from the Grange working into our local schools. Like once everyone in the community clued in that we all have equity in everything that we do, and that Grange events aren't for Grangers. I mean, they are obviously, but they're about the community, and they're about unity of all the different articulated pieces of that community. And once that message became clear, all the resistance kind of melted away. Does that kind of cover what you're asking, Pete?
That's perfect, Chad. So another thing that you folks have done, and I think this is the smartest thing you can do, is instead of members coming in and you assigning them a task, you actually talk to your members, find out what their talents are, and then say, have at it. And that seems to have really worked well for all 3 Granges, allowing members to do what they do well. I know, Rebecca, you've talked about, you're not a cook. You're not going to cook a meal for a lot of people, but you have a lady in your Grange Hall that loves to cook. And she's doing amazing things, and she wants to do amazing things. You said you've got your secretary treasurer. They're great. Well, I think they're school teachers or librarians or whatever, and turn them loose with the books. Now, all 3 of you, I think we got Jack back. If not, if David could speak on this for Cibolo, that has worked well for your Granges, allowing your members to just use their talents and build your Grange. Tyler, you want to speak on that?
Yeah, I can chime in there for Cibolo. This is Dave Weaver from Cibolo Grange. Can everybody hear me okay? All right, cool. Yeah, I think you're 100% correct, and I just reiterate what's been said already by our other distinguished Granges there, and the fact that it didn't take us too long to learn when we first reopened in 2013 that our members are not going to be able to handle everything that we were trying to get accomplished. And so to keep us a little bit short, because I will have to get back into work, but we were able to transfer into tying up with some other organizations like Brother Jack was talking about earlier. The PTSD Foundation came in, and the Road Foundation, which was special needs social group. These are farmers market stuff. These are other groups that are also tied in with Grange members. And what we started to do is really just say, if there's something in your community, talking to our non-Grange members, something in your community you wanted to do, we're looking for a way to do it. We are that way. Come in and join us, and let's make these things happen in our community. And it just really spiraled out of control to where the recognition that we're getting within the city government, even we're tied in there through the Economic Council, we're tied in through the City Council. The mayor's come and visited a couple times, and they actually reached out to us to start the Cibolo Senior Center. And you want to talk about some fun times. These folks are coming in there and having a blast. And it also spun off into the Meals on Wheels program. Our sister city Shirts wasn't able to get enough drivers for their Meals on Wheels. And we're flooded with drivers. It's just people want to have fun. And so if you're doing things that they want to do and you're making it fun, you get those volunteers and you get some new Grange members coming into the hall and stuff. Some other things that were spun off by members, they started a little food bank there at the Grange Hall. They got a rack for putting clothes on for people to donate to people, the other folks. They got a book rack. I mean, it's just an endless amount of activities done by everybody, and nobody's really doing a whole lot. I mean, we put a lot of burden on Brother Jack to do our community book and keep us all organized and going in the right direction, but it's just a lot of really good people doing some good things, and I can't say enough about the members, not only in our Grange, but in all Granges too. It's just amazing, and I get really thrilled just to see the quality and the type of people that are part of the Grange organization. Why wouldn't you want to be part of that? That's really, you have the fun, and there you are in the city, and everybody's just flocking to the Grange. We're almost 7 days a week, almost every week, 7 days a week. There's something going on at our hall.
Well, I think, David, to me, the senior center that has now come in there, the city approached you with that, correct? And said, hey, we need a spot. Can you help us out?
That is correct. Well, I was talking to, I've worked with the Parks and Rec, because I'm on the board of directors for our social group. And we were talking with the Parks and Rec because they were building a sports complex down about a mile away. And we were sort of placing a demand that there needed to be a spot there for special needs activities and stuff like this within the YMCA. And we've been working on that for a couple of years, making that happen. And so along with that, then with the Parks and Rec, they started talking about the senior center and everything. And I said, well, we really need one in Cibolo, so let's see what we can do. And we started talking about it. And one of the volunteers for Parks and Rec, Carol, this is unbelievable dynamo. And the fact that they said, well, go out and see what you can come up with as a plan and what you might need. And we come back 3 months later with a full-grown plan ready to go and open up the doors. And the city council couldn't believe it. And 2 months after that, we opened up. So yeah, they reached out to us and we reached out. It was sort of like a mutual thing. We wanted to do something good in the community, and that's what happened.
See, I think that's a sign that, city town governments are looking for groups to help them. They've realized they can't do it all. They don't have the people to do it all. But here's an organization, and I'm sure Jonesboro and North Fork are the same, that government's coming to you saying, can you help us? And instead of thinking, oh no, government's bad, they're going to, no, you folks have realized that no, we could all work together for the betterment of the communities. And I think that's spectacular. I truly do. So what positive impacts, Rebecca? Oh, now she left. Now we can't see her. So we'll try Jack again, see if Jack got it worked out here, buddy. You have other groups. You have the service dogs, I believe, group from another town that come in and use your Grange Hall.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You can. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Repeat your question again, please.
Well, Jack, you've had another government group. You've had the service dog group from another town come in and they needed a spot.
Service dogs.
Yeah. Yeah, at one point in time, in addition to the groups that are here all the time, usually or every other month basis, we have groups that come in once a year. It's just another outreach into parts of the community. One was was called Battle Buddies. And Battle Buddies raises and trains service dogs. And once a year, they present them, and people come all over the country to receive a dog. And they do that a lot of Grange Hall. So even though we only get them once, it's just one more chance for us to kind of reach out to somewhere in the community. Because you never know when we're going to pick somebody else up for when they'll get interested in something else. What I was saying earlier was we have all these tenant organizations. And with the exception of the PTSD, there are Rangers involved in every one of those organizations. So it's kind of like a big web. And as contacts grow between one organization and the other, all of them, all the organizations grow in membership, all of them grow in cooperation. The more organizations out there that are all kind of linked together, the more community outreach we get. And that's one of the things that, as Dave was saying earlier, we got all these things going, and we couldn't have them all going if we didn't have kind of word of mouth from other organizations, or if someone needs assistance and one of us probably knows where.
Were you able to hear him?
So that's the kind of putting the community and the Grange together. We get additional Grange members, but they don't have to be Grange members. It's still helping the community.
Okay, thanks, Jack.
I want to make emphasis.
Okay, thanks, Jack. So how have your Granges
But I
made
can't tell
out?
if anybody heard me.
Yeah, we did. You put yourself back on mute there, buddy. We're going, next question. How have you guys made out with,
Hello?
how have you folks made out with other Granges in your area? And everybody's, helping each other out. It's important that Granges help Granges. And especially now with the way things are, Granges starting to open back up.
I do.
How have we made out with that? Chad, I know you said you packed up cars driven 6 hours.
Well, actually, Rebecca, I'd like to defer to you to answer this first.
Well, where Washington County, this is kind of a sad story, I guess. Washington County is a very rural county in the state of Maine, and Granges have seemed to disappear more than they have been being planted, I guess. So within the past couple years, more Granges have closed in the county than they have grown. The nearest Grange for us would be about an hour away, and that makes things kind of difficult in the long run, because I mean, an hour, that's a long ways to travel on a weeknight for a meeting or something. And then beyond that, there's only 3 left in the county. 3, which is we want it to go the other way, and we're trying. Beyond that would be Hancock County, the next county over, which is a little over an hour away. And we have met them. We met them at the Blue Hill Fair last fall in September. There was some of us that went up, Muriel Gay in particular, and we set up our booth and we had a nice chat with them at the Blue Hill Fair, and we connected with the Blue Hill Grange there. So that was a nice way to reach out to that Grange and just connect with them in a way that, you know, we wouldn't really be able to connect with the Blue Hill Grange because they're in another county, much farther away from us. So it was cool to interact with them and see their display. And they said, "Oh, Jonesboro, we haven't heard much from Jonesboro in years." And we said, "Oh, well, here we are. We're here with bells on." So we are very rural, but we are trying to make those connections. And being so far away from other Granges, it is kind of, we do feel isolated at times, being so rural, but I think the more that we're doing and the more we're reaching out, the more that others are connecting with us. So the story's only beginning. We're in the beginning process of that, I do believe. So back at you, Chad.
Thanks, Rebecca. Yeah, California's been in a real pickle with the organization for, you know, the better part of a decade now. Even prior to the pandemic, there were legal circumstances that saw Granges across the state closing their doors. You know, compounding that was the pandemic. You know, I don't know if you guys know this about California, but if you can make a rule or a law, California's going to do it. And if there's a mandate, California's going to follow it. And like the rest of the state, my tiny community, my small county, one of the smallest in the state, took the pandemic very seriously. And the ability to gather was not only restricted, but it was, you know, fully cut off for a fair, you know, 18 months there. We were really fortunate in our Grange. We have a thriving population of technologically savvy nerds, this guy, and a lot of people with just a tremendously broad skill set. And as the vice of regulation came down, it kind of let out a call for individuals with that really diverse skill set to figure out creative ways to navigate times when, you know, maybe we couldn't gather in this building. So Zoom came naturally, and we had a few people that were happy to go get tested and then go to some of the other homes of people that were harder pressed to be up to date with technology and walk them through setting up Zoom so that they could still participate and they still had an outlet. So California getting the kind of 1-2 punch between the two things, you know, rather than look at it as a crisis, we looked at it as a great opportunity. As our Grange master here in this, president, excuse me, at this hall often says, the Mandarin character for crisis is a simple stroke away from opportunity. And we exemplify that here because, as I mentioned before, bridging that intergenerational gap is a labor of love from all directions, from the younger folks, from the youngest folks, and from the older and oldest folks. And being able to create community and stay connected through technology and through the efforts of individuals that just kind of added it to their workload, added it to what it means to be a Granger. You know, it means getting in your car sometimes and driving to the senior citizen, eldest of your organization's house and, you know, hooking up a flat screen because they're still using a tube TV from 1986 and plugging in, you know, just the whole nine. And that modality of creating connection intergenerationally again, just kind of blew the doors open and managed to keep everybody feeling, if not like everything was okay, because everything isn't okay. It made everybody feel like at least they had people to lean on if the necessity arose. So we fortunately have been able to grow our membership and grow the dynamic within that membership throughout the pandemic, and even prior to the pandemic, as Granges across California kind of had to figure out some legal nonsense. We were able to become kind of a candle in the darkness for not only our Grange, but the other community Granges. Our closest Grange to here is Ono Grange, and their whole Grange hall burnt down 3 years ago, I believe. So they're, just a fantastic group of people, but they're still 50 mountain miles away from us. And that's a solid 2-hour drive, even if you drive like myself at Mach 6. We've done what we can to, keep our hat in the ring with them. Hey guys, if you need anything, give us a call. We have many Grange halls in every direction that have closed down, have become embroiled in legal battles, and have been fighting to find their identity again. And through that all, we've had individuals with our Grange that were willing to and capable of reaching out, people from those communities in every direction from our hall, that are now in our community, that we're able to say, hey guys, I know there's a lot going on and it's not our place to have an opinion in any legal precedent going on, but if you need something, we're here. And if you're getting bored, give us a holler. We've got programs and all manner of events you could participate in. Shoot, we'll even load up a van load of folks and send them down there to volunteer, whatever you need help with. And in that way, even some of those legally embattled Granges, we've developed functional, working, and positive relationships that have since then kind of catalyzed into reintegration into the organization and letting go of some weird lingering bad blood, and everything has worked out very well so far. And it's provided us a launch pad as the pandemic has wound down to the degree it is now. I mean, we're not out of it yet, but it's provided us a launch pad to go out and participate even more and celebrate, create a positive event out of being able to sit in a room with individuals that we've been barred from interacting with for, months, if not years. So, it's a work in progress. We still have Granges 50 miles away that, if we go and knock on the door, the individuals there, nobody's home. But we've got a lot of faith. We have a lot of momentum, and we have a lot of really positive individuals that aren't looking to reinvent the wheel or tell anybody how they need to Grange. We have a lot of individuals that just want to see people thriving within those kind of simple, fraternal, operational parameters that, give each and every one of our communities the ability to thrive under any circumstance.
So let's talk about community for you folks. And Rebecca, I'll give you a chance, but I also want you to talk about, okay, let's talk about the communities and the people coming into your Grange Hall and how you've impacted your community. It has given people an opportunity in these past 2 years for socialization that they have not had. How much of your community are you seeing? Are you seeing new people coming in? What's been their reaction to what you're doing? So, Rebecca?
Absolutely. So when the big COVID hit, everything came to a screeching halt. And the type of person I am, I really don't let things stand in my way and stop me. So when I was told, we had something planned in November. And when the news got to me, I was like, no, it can't be canceled. No, no, no. And then I learned that everything was on hold until the spring. And it stung. So I think the gears got churning and everyone got thinking and said, hey, what can we do to safely start in the spring to continue doing what we do? And the idea was to use the property adjacent to the Grange Hall. And it's a very small lot. It's not owned by the hall. So we had to get special permission to use it, and we were granted it by a longstanding member of the Grange. He was very gracious and said, absolutely, as long as you have the insurance, in case anything happens, you are more than welcome to use that property at any time. So we said, let's host a craft fair, make it outdoors. Our Grange hall is just too small to host anything inside, so everything will be outside. So we did just that. We advertised it. We put a huge sign out on Route 1. Thousands of people stop and see this sign every day traveling on this road. It has brought people, I mean, I know people, I remember a face more than I do a name. It's brought people who I don't even recognize into the hall. And there are people like Phil Roberts, who is on this Zoom call tonight. Phil is a very well-known photographer in Washington County. He gives of his time and talents pretty much all of his life. With a camera in his hand, he travels to youth sporting events, takes pictures for the paper for kids. He captured a photo of my brother when he was very small, and we have treasured that photo. And my brother's 28 years old now. Phil, I knew of Phil. I didn't have a really relationship with Phil. Through COVID, Phil came over and documented our events. He gave of his time to come and take photographs for us. And since then, Phil has joined the Grange, and we have a wonderful relationship with Phil. And I feel like Phil is family now. And Roni is on here as well, along with Ryan and Judy Lyons. These are people who I personally did not know before COVID hit and before I joined the Grange, but these people I consider my family. And people inside that little Zoom box you see, Jonesboro Grange 357, Muriel Gay and Judy and Luann and Rebecca Trundy and my mother and my father in there as well, and Amanda Holland and Marlene Farnsworth, and I can't really tell who else is in there, I'm sorry. But love to you all. They have grown to be like family to me, and it's been such a beautiful thing. But you start to see with each event we host, you see the same familiar faces. They start to see, oh, you're planning something else next. Oh, that's going on next month. And they take note and they say, oh, I plan to be here. I am definitely coming to that. They look forward to it. They love it. They love to see what's going on within those walls, but also what's happening outside those four walls of the Grange Hall. They'd like to see what's going on. Like we host a 5K road race, and every cent of profit minus expenses goes to local nonprofits that help others with their navigation through a diagnosis with cancer. And that's beyond the walls of the Grange. We've kind of made it our mission to go outside of the Grange and meet as many people outside to bring them inside the Grange and get them involved inside. And it's worked wonders, but it's brought in people who I don't really know. It's brought in people from all over the county and beyond. It's really been a beautiful thing.
Excellent. David? David, you're on mute. There, oh, almost. Still muted.
Nice when they work.
Okay, Chad, how about you're part of the world? How much have you seen the community members coming in and re-engaging with the Grange?
Oh, I mean, it's kind of been a choose your own adventure book writing itself as we go. We have several local bureaucrats and politicians involved with the Grange directly. And just by doing their job and being good brothers and sisters and participating in the community in whatever role they fill, they've become kind of champions of the Grange. Oftentimes I'll hear them at community meetings, be it public utility board meetings or planning commission meetings, anything like that. When they self-refer, they'll refer and include their Grange title as well. Or they're just relentlessly optimistic and positive about the things we're doing, because the things we're doing are pretty optimistic in general. So I would say during my time with North Fork Grange, I haven't ever seen much resistance on a community level, because anybody that's, showing up with an open heart and some goodness and a smile, wanting to make everybody's lives better, throw a party, have a pancake breakfast, serve food to those in need, anything like that. We haven't found much resistance. And, we are, as you all know, a nonpartisan organization, but we're very quick to create educational opportunities for our what we call the downriver community. We're on the Trinity River in California, which is a wild and scenic kind of beautiful area. And our micro community here gets almost unprecedented access to other local politicians and bureaucrats, because we'll invite or enable every individual that wants to come and speak to the community at the hall. If there's any kind of emergency circumstance, we're very quick to reach out to the fire department, the sheriff's department, anybody, to say, hey, if you need a community forum or even an emergency facility, the Grange is here for you. This is what we're about. And we would be honored to be utilized in that way. And in that way, we've come to be regarded community-wide as one of the community centers, not only for our little downriver population of 650 people, but for the vast majority of the entire county and the neighboring counties. We this last summer had a giant wildfire. If I could point my camera outside of our window, it's all burned up. Mountains on every side burned. Our Grange Hall missed being burned by about 60 feet at one point this last summer, and the State Forest Service and CAL FIRE, our fire engagement organization, rented our hall for a solid month so that they'd have kind of the tip of the spear to be able to position these resources and do what they needed to do. We wouldn't have had that ability to even offer that as a community service had we not relentlessly put ourselves in the face of the entire community and the organizers and the other leaders in the community. So it's been just like I said, a choose your own adventure book that writes itself every step of the way. Every person who is participating in this building understands that their membership isn't, just joining them to a great fraternal organization. It's giving them a free pass to raise their hand at a meeting or reach out to our executive committee or any of the other leaders in the building and say, hey, here's an unmet need in our community, or here's an opportunity, or can we do this? And, we've just been really blessed by having individuals that feel secure and enabled to have agency to speak up and create any kind of program or reach out to any other organization.
That's you can't put it much better than that, Chad. I mean, and I like the way all of you are presenting this. David, we'll try you again. There you go.
Same question, or?
Well, the quick question, community, are you seeing more people from community coming into your Grange Hall? Different people, more than normal?
No, absolutely. It's increased. I think one of the contributing factors that really started back pre-pandemic, when we kept the farmers market open up all through the pandemic, spaced everything out, and people in the community really saw the commitment that the Grange had to the community and providing a valuable food source and stuff. And that continued on just through the other activities and stuff. And as we branched into, and now even, it's just like on a steamroller here, as we got into the seniors program and the Meals on Wheels and stuff like that, and more people get to know us, and some of the comments that we've had from the people when we're looking solely at the impact of our activities and people coming into the Grange or coming over and making statements about, whether they never knew that we were there or they've been stuck in their house, they haven't done anything, they had no outlet to get involved in the community. And people were coming in that we haven't seen. Like we said, the book thing was outside people that came in and said, we'd like to set this up. The clothing rack, outside people came in and set it up. So yeah, we're having with the more and more activities that we have, the more and more people that are coming in, and non-Grangers, and the number of people that have recently been talking to us about, they come in, they see what we're doing, they say, tell us about the Grange. Then the next question is, how do I join? And so I think those fruits of the labors and everything will be shown here this next year.
Excellent. If anybody has any questions, feel free to type them in the chat, and Phil will then go ahead and make sure we keep on track with that. Hopefully you have questions. I'm impressed, folks, with what these Granges are doing. They are, as I've said, they do great things. And as soon as Chad comes back on. Yes, Rebecca.
I want to add in, going back to the question you asked me about Granges supporting each other. I want to say that social media has really opened up and connected and filled that gap since we are so rural. Like before I met Chad via Zoom, he had been so encouraging on our Grange page. And that was so warming to see those comments of encouragement from the West Coast when we hadn't even met in person, but to know that he was cheering us on meant the world. And really inspired us to see those just pop up. I mean, nowadays, social media, it's everywhere, but to see those positive comments come from another Grange. I love to get on social media and see Granges around the nation and follow various ones and like their pages and see what they do and just support them with just a simple click and like. It truly, it means a lot, and it helps get what they do, it gets their word out. So the more that you like and share, the more it betters their Grange, regardless where you are in the United States. And our sister Grange, Alexander, which is a local Grange within our county, they do a wonderful job of supporting what we do. And even though they are an hour away, I will say that they do share our events, and they do help us get our word out about what we do. So we are very thankful for them to help us spread the word in that sense. So, but shout out to Chad for all the positivity he radiates as a Granger. He truly is a phenomenal guy, and I hope to meet him in person one day.
Thank you. Well, thank you for mentioning that, Rebecca. We're going to segue right into something a little different. We've been on an hour, and we're not done yet, but couple things. Chad has talked about, and I know it's been done before, but we're talking about, sister Granges. Granges talking to other Granges, like-minded Granges, whether it's size, Grange name, Grange number. And I've been pondering this, and sometimes it scares Betsy when I say I've been pondering something, or she gets the phone call that Loretta and I were thinking. And thank you, Loretta, for all you've helped with this. I appreciate it. So what we're going to do is we're going to match up some Granges here. And I want future conversation, not tonight, but I'll hope you reach out to each other. So Rebecca, you see Miss Peggy King Johnston and Miss Sharon Poplar and Miss Luann Swainston? They're waving at you. Well, Luann's like that red dot. I'm not sure if it's her retina or Jupiter. Well, Burns Grange and Kinney Grange in Michigan and Jonesboro Grange need to have conversation, because you folks do kind of a lot of the same stuff, but different ideas. And I truly hope, and these ladies here have a lot of great Grange knowledge, but they do a lot of great work in their communities in very positive ways. They've been doing, ladies, you've been doing the Words for Thirds program for how many years?
18.
18 years. So how many dictionaries would you say you've given out in 18 years?
Close to 20,000. Yeah.
20,000 dictionaries for the Words for Thirds program in their towns.
couple years ago at national session, we were informed that we were second in the nation for giving them out.
You were. You absolutely were. So at some point, your Granges need to have conversation, share ideas. Okay. Chad, this is going to be fun. But you and Steve from Turkey Hill Grange in Illinois, you guys need to have conversation. Turkey Hill is just outside of St. Louis, right next to Eggers fruit stand, fruit farm, something like that. You guys have a lot in common. Your Granges do. You guys do dances. They do plays. Your Grange gets a lot of use. So I think North Fork Grange and Turkey Hill Grange need to have a conversation. I think it'll be a great conversation.
Threaten
And
me
the
with a
last
good
but-
time.
What's that?
Threaten me with a good time.
Hey, those Illinois people are a lot of fun. I enjoy it. I'm going to be out in St. Louis area in May, actually. I'm going to go to a ball game and then go to Southern Illinois. Have a fun time. Cibolo Grange. Been pondering this one a lot. And I'm so glad that Denny and Tammy are on from Progress Grange in Pennsylvania, because I think your two Granges need to have a conversation and share ideas, because you all do a lot of the same things too, especially reaching out to different groups in your communities with food banks and different programs you do. Very progressive minded, not afraid of a new idea, willing to take on a new challenge. And I hope that, you folks and Progress will have a great conversation. I see great things coming out of that opportunity also. So I encourage that. You three or you six Granges are going to be the test case. I always test things out before I turn them loose. This is all Chad's idea. So if it doesn't work, blame him. If it works, credit me. But I hope you folks will have a conversation with each other. I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be a lot of fun to see this happen. You ladies, I can't wait to hear what Sharon and Luann and Peggy and all the members of Jonesboro get together and have conversation. This is going to be fun. Not that I like to talk, but the ideas and the knowledge that you can share, especially you from Michigan to a Grange in Maine that's really doing, but as Rebecca said, let's have some positive conversations. Share your ideas. Let's not reinvent the wheel, but let's share what we're doing. So I'm excited. I'm tickled to death that the state presidents from Texas and Maine are on. Chad Kent tried to get on, but he was having issues. I'm glad their state presidents were on to support them. This is fantastic. This is what I hope was going to happen. So at this point, Loretta, you've been quiet, and that scares me. So what I would like for you to do, wherever you just went to, all three Granges, as we have seen on Facebook, have presented more than enough to qualify for a Grange in action. So why don't you just kind of give them and everybody else a little recap of Grange in action, another national opportunity.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. This has been a wonderful, exciting evening, and happy Grange Month to everyone. And because this is Grange Month and I've been seeing all this activity on social media, I know you all are taking pictures of the different events that you've already had before Grange Month and after Grange Month. We have this program called Grange in Action. And all you have to do is submit 3 photos on 8.5 by 11 paper with a little caption underneath of what the event was about. And on the next piece of paper, submit the person's name that submitted this, and you will be recognized in the National Grange Convention program as a Grange in Action. You will also receive a beautiful certificate with the national president's signature on it. So I know all these Granges are y'all doing great things. Capture those photos. And I know some of the Granges that's on tonight have already been Grange in Action winners in previous years. So keep it up. And if you haven't did this before, give it a try this time, because I want you to know there is a new wind that is blowing through the Granges right now throughout the United States. I have never seen so much enthusiasm, excitement. Yeah, I know we're so happy to be out and about because the pandemic is just about over with. We're kind of in the endemic, but I'm seeing this wind blowing. And if you haven't caught on to this wind that's going on right now in the Grange, you need to catch on to it. And all those new members that's coming, new people that's coming out, always ask them that question. What can you do to help us? And maybe they might will join one day. It's all yours, Pete.
Thank you, Loretta. So any questions, folks? I mean, hopefully we've stirred some ideas, some questions, how, what, why, when. You know, we have Sharon Croucher, Clifton Springs Grange in New York. They've been doing an egg hunt for the children in the community for years. Great thing. You know, they do words for thirds. You know, Sharon and I have been friends for a long time in the Grange, and she and Bruce are amazing people. Is that Randy Farmer from Kansas? See, I know people.
The
You
one
know, Kansas. You know, Kansas Granges are stepping up, reaching out. It's wonderful, folks. As Loretta said, there's a new wind blowing in the Grange. There is so much positive stuff happening that, you know, my chief had a saying: lead, follow, get out of the way. And we need to keep this going. You know, I really like the fact where Granges, okay, the worst things you can say, right? We've always done it this way, or we tried that once, it didn't work. Well, Granges aren't doing that anymore. Granges say, no, it might not have worked, but let's look at it a different way. You know, let's go a different direction. You know, Rebecca had a great line, great thing the other day we were talking. And, you know, they're doing the Easter basket, and she wanted to get some bicycles to give away. One of her members told her no. Now, they didn't say no because they didn't want to do it. They said no because we ought to do it at a different event we're having that would work better. But, you know, the Grange met and talked, had conversation and said, okay, what can we do? Folks, that's what's happening. You know, Enterprise Grange in Maine, well, all the Granges in Maine. And Sherry, you got some great Granges in Maine doing great things. I see Sister Marilyn posting all the time. Sometimes quite humorous, her snow boots out in the snow trying to shovel, get to the mailbox, but hey, it's Maine, you expect that. But, you know, the Granges are doing. Oh, I think Miss Peggy has something she wants to say. Had her hand up. Yes, ma'am. You're muted. Got to get Chris to unmute you, if Chris is still there. Oh, good. Now we got Sharon and Peggy trying to work. There we go. You're live.
All right. May we find out what Rebecca's last name is?
Cox, C-O-X.
C-O-X?
No, Hodges. Sorry. Hodges. Now, hey, look, I've been in the Grange long enough. I know about maiden names, married names, and I'll call you by names if my name belong to you. So, Rebecca, spell your last name for us, please.
She's muted.
No, she's muted. I think she put it in chat. Hodgson.
Yes, I put it in the chat, so it's the correct spelling.
And folks, you got, I'm going to tell you right here, everybody that's on here tonight that is presented, they just don't do Grange work. You know, Rebecca's got two youngins, 2 and a 5-year-old, 2 and a something-year-old, plus her husband's in active Coast Guard. She lives about an hour and a half, 2 hours away from where the Grange is. And she's also a lobster woman and a clammer. So, you know, she's busy. Jack and his wife are both retired military, and he was a school teacher, correct? And Chad's an entrepreneur. He's involved in a little bit of everything. So folks, they're just like us. They're working people. But they've got a great group of Grangers around them. They don't know the word no anymore. It's kind of probably harkening back what the Grange used to be. Open the doors. What can we do to help? How can we help you? No negative. And it's great. They're doing great things. Anybody have any comments, any questions? Danny, any comments?
Can I add in something, Pete, really quick?
Oh, absolutely. Farm good.
I wanted to bring up something another member was texting me and in our little, she's in there, but she wanted me to say this. It's Luann. She is the one that headed up the fire department and Grange fundraiser for the yard sale to benefit both organizations. But in turn, that opened up into a community service project. We set out to raise money, which was the goal, but in turn, that opened up so many doors. She took the gowns that did not sell to a local high school for a gown project that they gave away free gowns in the high school to kids that needed a dress and couldn't afford it. She took the leftover sheets to the Ark Animal Shelter to benefit that organization. There are hats that are going to benefit cancer patients while they are undergoing chemo treatments. Just incredible things came out of this yard sale, which we just looked at for profit, but in turn, it snowballed into community service projects. So just be thinking what might be a fundraiser could in turn into a bigger project and serve your community in a much larger scale than just serving yourself. So keep that in mind in the next project you do within your Grange. It might have a bigger purpose than just your Grange Hall, and it might reach more organizations around you. Great point, Rebecca. That's a fantastic point. So Sister Betsy, I know you're on somewhere. There you are. Anything you'd like to say?
No, it's been a great evening. I'm really excited to hear what all these Granges are doing. It's very uplifting. So thank you all for getting on and sharing your stories. I wish we had a better way of getting the stories out to every member in the country, but we do the best we can with social media and Zoom. But thank you all for being on here. Thanks, Pete, for setting this up and working so hard to get it all organized. It's great.
As we say, my pleasure.
Pete?
So any questions, folks? We've got some great minds on here. I can't really believe nobody's asked any questions yet. Kind of concerns me. Anybody? Okay, does anybody want to share a community service project they're joining? Now, Hannah, you've been quiet. And it concerns me when a young lady's quiet like that, because she's probably got something she wants to say. Nothing? No, I think she's asleep or she froze. Okay, Karen, go ahead.
I just wanted to share with our Grange, Marble Valley 567 in Vermont. We don't have a Grange Hall, but we actually shared. We put it in these little boxes and kind of baskets in several of the different stores in the in our local community, and we asked people. We had a sign that said, that we were raising money and requesting to have a fund of ibuprofen, Tylenol, and other things of that area that we were going to send to the over to Ukraine because they were in need of those things. And we got with all the monies and the people put in and all the the ibuprofen that were put in these baskets, we raised over 11,500, or close to that anyway, ibuprofens, and we sent them out, and through that, some of the people that were in the other places decided that they were really impressed with what we were doing, and they wanted to join our Grange. So I thought that was something that was really worth doing. And we were on the news, the CBS News, both the 6 o'clock, the 7, and the 11. So we've kind of, so we've gotten out there. We put it also on Facebook. So it's, we've got, I just really impressed by that. So, and we've been doing a lot of other really great things in our Grange, but like I said, it's hard when you don't have a hall to do this stuff in. But we have really been growing because we've been really kind of outreaching in the community. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
I appreciate that. And probably next quarter, at some point, we're going to do the same thing, except we're going to have Granges on that don't have halls, so they can talk about what they're doing. And Sharon, I think you know the direction I'm going with that. So be ready. So Sister Carrie from Illinois.
Yes.
Now, for those who don't know, Prairie Grange in Illinois, Boone County, Pomona Grange, Northern Illinois. They are another very active Grange. Now, Carrie, could let us know about the meal program you do for members, or you take meals around?
Yeah. So during the pandemic, we lost a whole bunch of Grange members. None of them were due to COVID, but a lot of them were because of COVID, because they went into the hospital and nobody was able to visit them in the hospital, and they lost their will. And because of that, we started, it started every other month. And this year we decided to go every month, and we call it Buddy Meals. And we do about 25 to 30 meals, and they're for our older Grange members who are either at home alone, or, it's just a husband and a wife, and they don't have that many family members that come to visit them all the time. And then sometimes it's friends of other Grange members or members of other Granges who are in need. And we get together at our community Grange Hall, because we live in a county where there's 7 Granges, and we utilize, I think 5 of us all utilize the same Grange Hall. So we get together at the Grange Hall, and we cook a meal together, and then we package it up, and then we have delivery drivers who go around to the different houses and drop off a meal. And each month we put a card in there, and the card usually says something like, last month I wrote the card, so it said, "I hope this brightens your day." And we gave them last month, it was creamed ham and peas and over rice with bread and a full dessert plate, because everybody made desserts to send with us. And it's always homemade food. It's never pre-purchased food. So far, we haven't had to buy any meat. We've had Grange members donate all of the meat from their freezers. So it hasn't cost our Grange any money except for the containers that we put it in. So it's a great program. And if you can't make it to the day when we're cooking, but you still want to participate, then some of those people donate either part of the meal or part of the containers, or in some way they help out as well.
Excellent. Thank you for that.
Uh-huh.
So folks, it's going on 10 o'clock. We're going to slowly wrap this up, because I know me and I know everybody else, we like to talk. So Lori from Cibolo, we're going to try you one more time. Hopefully you've got a great connection. Parting words.
Parting words. Did you want to say?
Okay. A lot of the things that we are doing, getting small interest in groups in this area, what we have is a lot of military retired. So those military retired find a project they're interested in. Interested in the farmers market, they join. So a lot of these projects that we have done are just ideas, just like one of the other Grangers said, you never know what it's going to do to spark an interest. And maybe a fundraiser that you held is now to help, you know, the high schools with prom dresses, the FFA with fundraising, and just basically snowball from that. So everything that I've attended on a national basis, I've always taken little tidbits of things and brought it back. And when I came into Cibolo Grange, because I transferred to help reorganize, I was just like, thank you, because they never said, we've always done it this way. They were open and new to say, well, we don't know what the Grange does, so why don't we try it? And sure enough, it just took off like, I would say, oh, that's a bad thing, so we're not going to say that. It just, you know, totally took off. And from that, we're gaining new people where they have different interests and they're like, well, you know, I'll go ahead and head up that project on the farmers market, or I'll head up that project on Quilts of Valor. And we just have such a wonderful community that the city is taking a look at us, that, you know, we're bringing in all these other organizations. And I'm really and truly looking forward to having not only help from other Granges, but just sharing what we do and continue to grow, because this is an organization that I absolutely love. So love y'all all. Appreciate it.
Excellent. Thank you. Chad, final words.
Thank you, Pete and Loretta and Betsy and Phil and everybody else for, you know, giving some of us an opportunity to share our stories tonight. And you know, this is one of my favorite parts of Granging, you know, getting to interact with everyone across the nation and hear how much unspoken camaraderie is there all the time. And I'm constantly just in awe of the resilience, not only of our membership, but of the organization itself. And thanks for letting me be a voice tonight.
No problem, buddy. I look forward to it. Rebecca.
Yeah, just to mimic what Chad said, it's truly an honor, and I thank you, Pete, for bringing Jonesboro Grange on board tonight and just honoring every member that is in attendance tonight from Jonesboro Grange, and for having us all here tonight and being in the presence of you all. It's truly an honor, and nowhere did we think in 2019 we would be here and put Jonesboro on the national map. It's something we never dreamt of, and it's amazing. And this is just going to inspire, I believe, each and every person that is here tonight. I think it's going to plant seeds within each and every community and each and every Grange that is here tonight. I only think this is just a beautiful beginning. 2022 is just going to go uphill from here. I'm so excited to see the relationships that are going to come to fruit from our new sister Grange and from the other ones as well, and from just the ideas and new friendships we are going to gain across the United States from this. But it's been an honor. I am just I'm left speechless, I guess, to say, and that is a rare thing. If you ask anyone from Jonesboro tonight, that's rare. So I am just thankful. No, I am thankful from the bottom of my heart. You have made each and every one of us in Jonesboro, from the Jonesboro Grange, feel like a star. So thank you very much.
You're all welcome.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you, folks. Thank you, folks, from the bottom of my heart. You folks, Cibolo, North Fork, Peggy, Sharon, Luana, anything you'd like to say? Since you're part of the group now.
I'd just like to give you a special thank you for this pin. It is beautiful and it means a lot.
Well, you ladies deserve it. No doubt.
you.
No doubt.
I'd like to just to say to Rebecca, since I've been in the Grange, I met my subordinate Grange members and I grew to love them all. Then I started going to state session and my family grew. And going to national session,
It grew some more.
it grew some more. And I have learned to have such a wonderful, loving relationship with everybody. I can't wait to go in September or October, and I can't wait to go in November so I can renew all my friendships. And Pete, thank you from the bottom of my heart for my award. Thank you.
No problem. Everybody deserves it. Rebecca, I will warn you of this. Michiganders like to travel. They are not afraid to camp and travel. Trust me when I tell you that.
Yes.
So don't be surprised if you get a knock on your Grange Hall door, there's a fifth wheel out in the parking lot. You know, that would not be a shock knowing the Michiganders that I know. Anybody else? Anybody have anything else they'd like to share? If not, Phil says we're good till 10:30. They won't kick us out. If people just want to sit and have conversations, feel free. Those that know me I know I really like this part. Just people chit-chatting and talking and having a good time. I'm shocked, honestly, that we have tables in Jonesboro, tables in Cibolo, tables in North Fork, and there is no food on them. There's no pie, no cookies, no cake, nothing. Other than a diet soda in Michigan. That's all I've seen.
That was an oversight.
Just so we know, this concerns me. But that's all right. We'll get through this.
Well, I'll do an official wrap up, and then we'll let the chit chat go on after this.
Thank you, Phil.
So I do want to thank Pete for putting this together tonight, as well as Loretta for her help. If you guys don't know, I am going to put their email addresses in the chat here in just a second so that you can connect directly with Pete and Loretta and our national staff. We're here for you. Whenever you need something from us, please don't feel any hesitation in reaching out to us, because that's what we're here for. So thank you all for celebrating Grange Month with us. It was great to hear these stories tonight. And I do wish that we could get it out to even more members. So this will be going up on YouTube. Hopefully I'll get it edited tomorrow morning so that it can go up on YouTube and our Grange Month page on the National Grange website. Next week, we have 3 more Zooms coming up. We have on the 18th is for state secretaries only. So if you're a state secretary and you're here, please tune in on the 18th at 8:30. The 19th is our Membership Matters with Amanda Brazana Rios, our National Grange Membership and Leadership Development Director. And on the 20th should be a really interesting conversation with National Grange Legislative Director Burton Eller and Assistant Sean O'Neill. That's our legislative roundtable, talking about some of the issues that the Grange is working on. This enthusiasm I hope to see continue far beyond April. April is the official Grange month, but I hope to see it continue on and on and on throughout the year. And so that's all I have to say. Thank you all for being here tonight. I'm going to make this the official wrap up, and now you can all just keep chit-chatting the night away.